And it is a good morning, Long Island. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, my neighbors.
There he goes. Got to do it. Got to do it. We are here again, live. Happy Friday morning, a locals day. We got a locals day. It looks like we are live.
That's loudmajority.locals.com, guys.
That's right.
Sign up for the premium content. You can see all the behind the scenes stuff. I got a new toy we can play with afterwards.
You got another one?
Yeah, from my birthday.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. Okay, cool. I keep forgetting to bring in.
That's loudmajority.locals.com, guys. Yes. Sign up over there. It's $5 a month. Really appreciate it.
Well, we're here, and as you can see, the title of today's show, as I'm bouncing around window to window to window, we are live with a good friend of ours, the former New York State Assemblyman, local legend, Mike LiPetri. There he is.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is a setup you guys have.
Yeah.
I love it. Looking good.
We appreciate that.
You two today.
Yeah,
we're trying to look good.
Yeah, well, we're trying. Yeah.
It's harder for us to look good than it is for you. You're all dolled up.
Yeah, he's all
looking nice.
Listen, I'm just here to respect you both, all right? I look good
he did his hair, but he did his hair before the show. This is good.
Yeah, I did my hair before the show. I ran it through the shower and then threw my hat on top. So here we are. We're ready to rock and roll. And we got everyone checking in. The Long is already misspelling words in the chat as he tried to write good and wrote goose. So that's very good.
Yeah, he was texting me at about midnight last night, so he's hurting right now.
Oh, the Long was up late. And we're live on Getter now. It just popped up. We got the Getter chat going. So we are now live everywhere. Rumble should be good. Should be better this morning. I don't know what was going on the other day, but we should be all good to go. And we're ready to talk. We're ready to talk with Mike LiPetri. You can find out what's up with him and what he's been up to, what's to look forward to in the future of New York State. So, Mike, what's the latest? I know a lot of folks here on Long Island were late to the LiPetri party the first time it happened, but it's okay. We're here now, and what's going on? What's new with you?
Oh man, this is an exciting year in New York State.
Big time.
Look, in my opinion, we are in the epicenter of change in the entire country. Why? Because we have an opportunity to go from 4 seats, which the Democrats won in the House of Representatives of New York, to now up to 12 seats. I mean, that's going to be huge for the shifting. I mean, how many seats right now Democrats hold? I think 3, 4, or now 3 because we just won in Texas.
Maya Flores,
which is huge. So now we're in the epicenter of New York. New York has a possibility, specifically on Long Island, to go 4-0. Meaning we can have 4 Republicans representing Long Island instead of 2-2. So there's 2 right there. Then we have upstate.
District 19.
District 19 is looking good. District 17. I mean, there's a whole other gamut of players in this congressional level. I was actually with our future speaker, Kevin McCarthy, last night. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, these guys are psyched what we have the potential. We can really win these seats. We can flip the House. We can push forward legislation that helps and policies that help us nationwide. And that's right here in New York. See, this is what I want to encourage so many people. I mean, all your listeners at home, we as Republicans, you can't give up in blue states, quote unquote blue states, because New York is so unique. It's not a blue state. It really isn't. People think that, but if you look at it, you have to win 30% of the city. Mm-hmm. If you win 30% of the city and then the state, we pull out the majority, we could win it. Yeah. It's all about turnout.
Absolutely.
It's all about
That's
turnout.
all it is. Yeah.
And you have so much the thought process of, oh, my vote doesn't count. Oh, my vote doesn't count. Well, multiply that by 1 million people. That's 1 million more votes that could have came out that didn't.
That's right.
Because you guys thought, oh, my vote doesn't count.
Absolutely.
Every vote matters.
And we tell everybody that all the time.
All the time.
I mean, Claudia Tenney upstate.
Right.
86 votes.
86
votes. 86 votes you win by.
Right.
My former boss, Mike Vendetto, lost by 314 votes.
I mean,
that's like 2 blocks in Massapequa.
Look at it locally, too, in the assembly races in the June 28th primary with Tom Weirman. He lost by 116 votes. I mean, every single vote counts. And, I understand that there are people after 2020 may have a little political PTSD. They feel like things were taken away from them, and that's fine. But
move forward.
You know what?
Move
that's
forward,
it. You got to move forward.
You know
that's
what
it.
I always say is if we all come out, and then we're saying we're losing, then there's something's wrong. But if we're all coming out, once we get that 100% turnout, then come talk to me.
Right.
But get out to vote.
Got to do it.
Absolutely. I want to see you coming out because I am super psyched to see this flip happen. I am super psyched to see the Senate. We have potential to flip that as well. But we have to make sure our candidates are quality.
Right.
Our candidates are speaking policies that focus on the economy, that focus on crime, that focus on our schools, that focus on border, that focus on the inflation issues. I want to see issue oriented, because when it comes down to the issues, we win.
That's right.
I love engaging in ideas with Democrats. Why? Because we're the ones that have the ideas. Many times you'll see Democrat oriented policies based on emotions. Ours are based on thoughts, mentalities, right? We want to have it where what's going to situate United States to put us in the best position forward so that we are the strongest. We are the hegemon of the world. And right now, we're not showing that power. We're not showing that strength. What's happening instead is you're seeing Putin seize right on that with the weakness of Biden. I mean, I'm telling you, I saw when I was at the event last night with our future speaker, he made a great analogy to what we're seeing in this world. And its history has such a way to repeat itself. About 70 years ago, we had it where after or should say now 100 years ago, right? 100 years ago, after the Treaty of Versailles, World War I, Germany just basically gives itself away and holds itself accountable for what it did in World War I. And as a result of that, you had Hitler rise up.
Right.
He built up his armies. He was against the prior government. He overthrew, and then he forced himself invading other countries and building himself. Well, you have the same thing with Putin here, right? Putin, KGB guy, was upset about the fall of the Soviet Union,
Right.
built himself up, built up a military, and now went after Crimea with Obama. And now what's he doing? He's going after Ukraine with Biden. And he's going to keep taking these spots. Why? Because he senses weakness. And then he's building with Hitler. He built up his Axis powers with Japan and Italy. And what's Putin doing? Building up his powers with China and North Korea and Iran.
Yep.
So we're seeing the same thing, history repeat itself, but it's up to us. This is the beauty. This is what I love about America, is that we have the strength as a democracy, a democratic republic, to change our leadership. I mean, that is beautiful, and everybody else has followed us over the past couple hundred years. Everybody has followed America.
Right.
And for some reason, people think it's right to compare ourselves to others and say, oh, this is what they're doing in other countries, or this is what they're doing. I don't care about that.
Exactly.
I don't care about what they're doing. I care about what we're doing. And I want us to be the leaders, because first place never cares about second place.
No, it doesn't matter.
Right?
Yeah.
It's all about ourselves. So we just want to keep beating ourselves. We want to keep bettering ourselves. We want to keep pushing ourselves forward and being number one, bigger and better than ever. So I'm looking at this as this is a year. 22 is a setup. That's another thing. 22 is a setup. 24 is where we capitalize. 22 is a setup. 24 is where we capitalize.
So like 22, baseball reference, top of the lineup.
Top of the lineup.
24,
cleanup
cleanup
baby.
hitter. That's
Clean
it.
up.
There you go.
And that was always my spot in baseball.
Well, everybody, yeah, that's, I don't know how there we go. Look at that.
Mike, you mentioned Putin, and I think I think it's something that a lot of people aren't talking about. When you said he senses weakness, okay, just throws Brittany Griner in jail, right or wrong, breaking the law, fine, okay, but in order to get her out now, it looks like we're going to have to trade a convicted arms dealer, a guy who's been, and this is president gun control right now, right? So we have to control guns, but we're going to trade a convicted, like a notorious, one of the worst arms dealer in the entire world to get Brittany Griner out of jail. And I don't think this happens under a President Trump. But we saw what happened with the UCLA basketball guys. They were facing 10 years in prison in China for shoplifting. He got them out with one phone call.
Yep.
You saw what happened with, there was another A$AP Rocky was getting, with the rapper, getting jailed in Sweden. Donald Trump got him out without having to give up some career criminal. You know, why do you think Vladimir Putin was just being opportunistic with the Brittany Griner situation, or is this, you know, do you think is legitimately a reason to throw this woman in jail for 9 years?
No, Putin's making a statement right now. Putin's making a simple statement that I'm going to do whatever I want. You have no control over me, and I'll make sure to penalize whomever I decide. And I think that is all going towards his mentality as that we are the power now, not you.
Right.
And so many people, I mean, I don't care if you like Trump, hate Trump, but you got to wonder, if this was President Trump now, would this happen? And I say that through a lot of what we're going through, you know, with how the treatment of the media is with Biden, how they would, if Trump did the same thing, would the media treat them the same? How it is with the border, how it is with international relations, how it is with Afghanistan, what happened, right? If Trump was in power, would this have happened? And overwhelmingly, the answer is no. I mean, it really, in an objective sense, right? Use a rational, reasonable mind. And so many people in the 2020 election, they voted not based on reason. It's because their mentality was, orange man bad.
Right.
I don't like him. I don't care. I don't want to vote for him. But you got to start focusing on policy. You got to just focus on not the personality, but what is he going to do for our country, push us forward? And that's what was so important to me. And that's how I've always represented the people when I was in office. And that was for Republicans, Democrats, independents. I used to meet with people, talk about issues, and have a rational debate. And that's what I used to enjoy about the debates, right? That's what I love about debating, is it's the hallmark to a democratic society, is creating that contest of ideas. And I don't think we're seeing that anymore. I think in today's day and age, we're focusing more on personality. We're focusing more on showmanship. We're focusing more on these commercials that are just trying to engage, almost like clickbait.
Yeah.
And I want to see more of those back in the old school William F. Buckley. I mean, for those of you who don't know, look up William F. Buckley on YouTube. So many notable figures who just spoke about ideas and bolts, like really critical thinking. And I believe that's what we need to return back to. And that's what I've been trying to foster within not only our government system, but even in our educational system too. I think we want to push that and see those that type of mentality, right? It's creating students that truly, if they're going to be in a scientific, for example, going to science, they're actually creating scientific experiments and challenging their hypotheses. If you're in English class, it's creating poetry and writing that is challenging society's typical thought process. Legal side, history, right? Why aren't we actually creating dialogue about different countries and what they did and why they did it? Why aren't we creating a back and forth Socratic method style where it forces people to think and actually voice their opinions in a way that's free from criticism and bullying? So we haven't done that in our educational system. And I really want to push that through our public school system. I want to see that pushed through different states, and in a way that the federal government would incentivize the states to push that, right? And that's what Obama did about a decade ago through his programs. But I want to have it with the what's the testing and all.
The Regents, the standardized test.
Standardized testing, yeah. The standardized testing was just a problem because it wasn't focused on the local side of things. And I want to create that organic bottom-up solution, but have the federal government incentivize in the sense of saying, hey, we want to push this critical thinking, but how you guys want to craft that is based up to you in the states.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. And, you actually got to do a TED Talk, which I'm kind of jealous about because I like TED Talks.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
And you talked about the millennial advantage.
Yeah.
The millennial, how the advantages that we have we're all, I think I'm the elder statesman in the room here.
Elder statesman.
Which is not great. My neck. Oh, my back.
And you just became your 1 week more elderer from last week.
I'm 1 week elderer. I'm not closer to 35 than to 30.
Yeah.
Which means I think I'm closer to 60 than I am to 15 or something. Something like that. I can't do the math. But your TED Talk about the millennial advantage.
Oh,
what do you tell some people about? What do you tell everybody about that? Because I was listening to it last night. It was pretty interesting.
Oh, you like that opening, that cold open there?
That was good. That was nice.
No, it was just because so many people, they have the millennial idea and we get stigmatized, right? Millennials, they say, oh, millennials are lazy. Millennials are hard workers. I'm like, you're just looking at the wrong millennials, man, because the millennials that are working hard are up right now, 8 a.m. with the studio, right? Can we look at this setup? Right? You guys are diligent, disciplined. You're focused on building yourselves. I think that's great, right? That's what millennials are all about. But in this day and age, look at our technology right now. We have all these different social websites. We have cameras, laptops, all this technology is accessible for us where we have access to information faster than ever. We can communicate to a larger audience quicker than ever.
Right.
And we're able to develop ourselves at a way that allows our innovative entrepreneurial ideas to compound more rapidly than ever before. And that's what I thought was so precious is that, think about it, like rather than scrolling on social media, which is so many people do, you could research issues. You could look up reports. I don't have to go to the library. I don't have to get hard book. I can find that raw data right now on my phone, right? I have a telephone that allows me that I can make calls, shoot emails, learn about information, read books, listen to podcasts, all that. So I'm consumed with information, and that allows me to become more knowledgeable, more informed, and therefore make better decisions and also be able to transition my career and skill set in a way that allows me to produce more money to ultimately become more financially free.
And it's so interesting because I joke around that as the phones got smarter, the people got dumber.
Yeah.
And it's
right.
It's so wild to think that we have the wealth of the entire human experience in our pocket, yet people don't take advantage of it. But 300, 400 years ago, people would walk to the Library of Alexandria.
Yeah.
They would have books in their
Correct.
home. They would just read.
Yeah.
For the sake of reading.
Right. So as our phones become smarter and people become dumber, well, which people, right? Because not all of them.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, no, not all of us.
Not all of us. It's a matter of how you utilize that technology. And I think that's great.
That's just as the phones get smart, the people get dumb.
Yeah, because what are you doing? Are you scrolling? And that's, I think, is something great for people to really look at and conduct their own introspection of themselves and say, what am I doing in my free time? Many people, if you're scrolling, if you're clicking, if you're doing that, maybe you should disable your notifications. I disable my notifications on my phone for social media.
I disable a lot of mine too.
Yeah.
I don't look at it.
I have to disable mine on Twitter because people are mean.
Yeah, people are
yeah,
nice.
currently,
They're not very nice.
Are your feelings hurt?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Currently, the Nassau County Young Democrats are having a bit of fun with me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not nice.
They're
sorry, man.
They're memeing me.
Memeing you?
Yeah,
I'm honored.
I took a picture.
You should be honored about that.
Yeah, I am. I took a picture, and now they're just put it because they're not funny. Oh, there's one that's actually pretty funny.
What, Timon and Pumbaa?
Yeah, they refer to Sean and I as Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah. So to that I say Hakuna Matata.
Which is
no worries, man.
No worries.
That's great.
No worries.
Listen, you're living rent free in their brain.
That's the best part.
You're living rent free in their brain.
I just told them to enjoy their Republican DA and their Republican executive and their Republican legislature, and I just kind of went, I'm like,
right,
young Democrats,
right?
Yeah, I mean, listen,
y'all need some old Democrats out there because you ain't got nothing.
Well, I remember it's always going to happen, right? I got death threats when I was in the assembly. People wanted to kill me. They made phone calls to my office, all that stuff. When I was when I did ride-alongs with ICE, when I was supporting ICE and what they did to keep our communities safe, and how they rid these criminals who were committing murders, who were fondling children. It was disgusting, disgraceful things. And so when people were saying to abolish ICE, I wanted to ride along to see what these men and women were actually doing in our communities. So, and then what ended up happening is just incidentally, that's what's going to happen. People are going to reach out. They're going to hate on you. They're going to despise you.
I have fun with them. I have fun with the haters on Twitter.
Haterade.
Because it's
a lot of haterade.
A lot of haterade.
Yeah. I get it, man. But that's ultimately, I mean, you're going to see that. And as long as we can still have that dialogue, we're winning. That's like one of my biggest oppositions to cancel culture on either side.
Right.
Is the idea of muting people in a bullying way because you're offended or you don't like the content. That's why I go back to the ideas, contest of ideas mentality. Because if you don't like it, just provide better ideas.
That's it.
Right? Why is our thought process winning if it's because it's built on common sense, built on logic, it's built on empirical evidence and empirical data, and that helps supports our positions and ultimately why we're pushing forward and advancing ideas that we do.
That's why on Twitter, when the trolls come in and start attacking, I do block once they stop putting ideas forward, but I like when they do it because I know they have nothing.
Right.
So what they put on display is a horrible display. They're putting forth a product that you literally can't believe in that product. And sometimes there are people on our own side who will come to me, with voting issues. So for instance, right, where somebody was having a discussion on Twitter about Carrie Lake, and they were 100% sure that this thing was being stolen and it was rigged. And I said, hold on a second.
Yep.
Why is she winning? And then it became, well, you don't understand. This is what's actually happening. And I said, well, where is the proof? Because all you're doing right now is undermining the confidence that we're going to need in 3 months to actually win. We want a primary, won it by the skin of our teeth in Arizona. We need people to be confident in the fact that their vote does count.
Right.
We can't be Lynn Wood in Georgia before the Senate runoff, which look where that put us, right? Where so many people
had
stayed
it
home.
not been for Lynn Wood, we have a divided House and Senate right now. Raphael Warnock doesn't win.
Right.
That's it. And who's the other one?
Warnock and Ossoff.
Ossoff.
Laugh my ass off.
They don't win.
Yeah.
But turnout in that runoff in Georgia was so low.
Yeah, nobody wanted to come out.
Nobody wanted to come out because Lynn Wood with his stupid hats.
He told people not to vote on the machines.
He was like, yeah, there's no point in even voting. Just stay home.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what. No.
And if you had presidential turnout, the same turnout that you had in the 2020 presidential election in that Senate runoff, Totally different story right now.
And
And Build Back Better has no chance. The
look,
Manchin bill has
it's
no
huge.
chance.
It's huge now, particularly with the voting, because now because of the loophole in the law, you can change your party affiliation the day of a.
Not anymore.
Oh, you
That
can't
got
anymore?
overturned yesterday in the New York State
did it?
Supreme Court. Did you hear about that?
What's that?
There was a loophole in the voter registration.
Yeah, now it's August 12th.
Yeah, it's August 12th. Yeah,
August
I made a
12th,
post about that yesterday.
For the primary.
Yep,
Oh, all right. So guys,
August 12th.
Go change your voter registration for the Republican primary right now.
Yeah.
Right now. Like, well, no, I mean not now. Wait, like
about 35 minutes.
In like 35 minutes
between when we stop and then between where we stop and go back on locals, change your voter registration.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
6 days. 6 days.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's all it is. 6 days.
Right,
8-5.
because early voting starts the 13th.
Correct.
So that's great.
Right. So they want to make sure that everyone's in place with that. Yeah, I mean, I really look at it, that idea of just not coming out. I don't get it.
You can't win.
No matter what, you're guaranteed to lose if you don't turn out.
And I say this all the time.
Guaranteed to lose if you don't turn out.
I'm a Jets fan, right? So I know what it means.
So you understand losing.
And I also understand how to lose and how to create ways to lose, right? I understand that when you score no points, as the Jets often do, you can't win a game. Right. So why would you, as a voter, as an entity or as a body or a block of votes, try to score less points? You have to put as many points on the board as possible. And there are people here going, well, putting points on the board doesn't matter because the referee is biased. Well, I don't care if the referee's biased. Then let's beat the referee too. Let's go out there and overwhelm the whole system.
I'm going to blow out the score then.
Yeah, run it up.
Then we're going to run up the score.
That's it.
And then I want the referee to try to find a way to make us lose because we're going to run it up. Baby.
That's it.
It's not like we're going against Tom Brady here where the refs, you can't touch him.
No.
Tom Brady.
No, you can't.
Michael Jordan. Those two.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan literally walked up to referees and just like, yo, that's a foul. And the ref's like, all right, foul. That's right. Definitely. But speaking of that, I want to talk about that, about not giving up too, because we had a poll come out. Did you guys talk about this poll yet with Zeldin, with the Sienna, all that?
Yes.
Did you say that? With 14 points?
14 points.
14 points, man. I think that is excellent.
Excellent
situation set up for us because
before we even get into it, I add 5 to every Republican in every poll because every poll undersamples Republicans. Doesn't matter who's doing it. Every poll is undersampled with Republicans. So I have a little rule that I add 5 for every Republican, just because because people don't want to say it on the phone because that's just how it turns out.
I mean, listen, I definitely can see that, but my point is that it's August.
Right.
Okay. It's August, baby. And let's go back 1 year in August. Okay. 1 year ago, almost to the day, I believe, we have Joe Biden and Afghanistan.
Yes, closing in.
Created 13 Gold Star families, allowed the Taliban to take over, right? And all of a sudden, we have leadership that has now taken over in Afghanistan. But my point is that shifted the dynamic for the November election in 2021 for us, specifically on Long Island with the county, with the town. Everyone was looking at it and saying, like, enough is enough. We need people rational minded who are going to step up, right? That happened in August. You look back in June, July, there was a different dynamic and feeling. But all of a sudden, that energized is my point. So what I'm going to do is we're at halftime, baby. This is just halftime. This is still inning 5. We still have 4 more innings to go.
Yep.
We still got 2 more quarters. All right. We still have 1 more period to go. We're not done yet. So we're about to now pick it up, right? And that's the goals. I want all these voters that are looking at November in New York State throughout saying, now let's start getting the word out here. Because I promise you, if it's just us, if it is just us, and we don't reach out to our friends, we don't reach out to our neighbors, we don't reach out to community members and say, get out the vote, we lose.
Right.
100%. 100% we lose, right? But we have a feeling, a groundswell among specifically independents who are upset. They're getting robbed. They're seeing shootings happen. They're seeing hypocrisy before us. They're seeing us weaken as a state, as a nation. I mean, for example, in the state, we had a huge $13 billion from federal government flow, give us a surplus, right? We're now looking at a deficit.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
Yeah.
We were gonna be flush with cash in New York State to allow us to push us forward to a pathway to prosperity. And in fact, we're in the hole again. What does that mean? It means New York State Democrats are just swiping the credit card, baby.
That's it.
They're just swiping the credit card, running up the bill, and then we're worried about the debt later. And who's going to worry about the debt? your children, your grandchildren, our generation, we're going to be in serious trouble because we got to make that up, and it's going to be on us to now pay for it. So what I'm trying to tell everybody is that you got to focus on now getting that word out. September, all of August, September, October, and we're there, baby.
That's right.
I mean, I know I'm going to be working with Suffolk PBA and a friend of mine over in Suffolk County. We're going to be hosting a rally in October that's going to bring out the vote. Looking at October 23rd is that date.
Put it on the calendar.
Put that on the calendar.
We'll
You
be
know,
there.
that's what we get me.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's right.
For Zeldin, we want to make sure we get the vote out.
Terrific.
For
That's
Zeldin,
awesome.
all of our congressional members, delegation, we want to make sure that vote is going to be turning out. So I want people fired up. I want people seeing how currently the cold halls of government are disconnected from the harsh realities of everyday life. I mean, that is where we're at today.
Yeah.
And we want to send that message that the issues that we talk about over the kitchen table, we want to make sure our representatives really understand that and are actually promulgating policy that removes those issues and makes it easier.
I want that. I want your rally to be like the rally we met at Eisenhower Park.
Yeah, big.
Oh, yeah.
Where Andrew Cuomo shut the park down on us. That was a pretty wild day. I want it to be as big as that one.
Cuomo, man.
That had to be 30.
Andrew Cuomo.
30,000
The
people.
Post, the New York Post branded him appropriately. Branded him Handsy Andy.
Handsy Andy.
That was a good one.
Governor Grabass.
Governor Grabass. But we have, in like you said, a 15-point lead for Hochul right now. 15-point deficit for Zeldin, and that's normally where you see these races tighten up to. You know, people have to understand when you saw the Arizona polling, people were very, again, we go back to Kerry Lake, very surprised that the race got close. I wasn't. I was looking at Real Clear Politics and the trend, and you saw, Lake was leading 11 in the polls with a margin of error of 3% and 7% undecided. I mean, to me, right there, that could go to being a close race, and sure as heck it was. You see it happen in almost every race where you start out with this wide margin, and then as people make up their minds and break one way or the other, the race tightens up. If we're starting with the margin of 15 points, that's where we're starting. That's where the polls started, okay? It's going to tighten up, within that 15-point margin because New Yorkers are fed up with crime. Because in New York City, you can rent an apartment, the size of a closet for $5,000 a month, and then have to walk outside on the streets in New York City and have to fear for your life.
That's wrong.
People don't want that. They want a guy like Lee Zeldin to come in and promising on day one to do what Ron DeSantis just did in Florida and remove an attorney, a district attorney in Alvin Bragg, who is not enforcing the law. And they want a guy like Lee Zeldin. I have a lot of upstate in the chat. There's a guy, the long we talked about is Robert Force up there. He's from Otsego County. Linda Burkhart, she's from the Southern Tier, who want to see fracking come to New York State. Right. You were in the assembly representing Long Island, but I'm sure you saw the debates on the safe extraction of natural gas. What kind of headway can we make with a leader like Lee Zeldin to promote that type of activity in New York? And that's the beauty, is that in New York State, the governor has such control and power over the budget, which is decided in the fiscal year is April 1st of every year. And leading up to January, February, March, that's where you debate a lot of the finances, and also you can include policy. And for New York, this is our opportunity to have checks and balances. So if you have the Assembly, which is controlled by Democrats, and the Senate, which is controlled by Democrats, but then you have the governor, which is controlled by Republicans, that's a beautiful way to actually foster unity among parties where they have to come to a compromise, where they actually have to put forward and advance their policies that are important, where now you have no excuse that if you are really here as a representative, quote unquote, you swear an oath to the people of New York State, or on the federal level, people of the United States of America, you have to come to a compromise to ultimately push forward and advance those policies that help the people. And I think this is our opportunity to put forward that type of compromise and unity, because that's what I want to see. We're having too much where it's one side or the other. You know what? Campaign season, we're going to advance our best policies forward, and this is why we need it. United States government, one-party rule. New York State government, one-party rule. There is no balance. No. There's zero balance. And you know what? I hate this right now, where you have Democrats who are complaining about certain things and certain issues popping up. If you don't like it, then do it.
You got all the power.
You got all the power.
They have no right to. If you don't like something, do it.
Just do what you want. You want to put forward. You want to advance all this. You want to push forward these ideas. Go do it then.
But here's what Democrats do, is that they use all these things as campaign issues.
Right.
Like
And
Like,
people got to wake up.
so
They got to
when-
see that.
So the perfect example of this is when Mitch McConnell put forth the Green New Deal in the Senate. It got voted down 0 to 50.
There you go.
Right.
No Democrats even voted yes or no
Right.
on the bill because they want to use it as a campaign issue. That's why people are saying, oh, Democrats are freaking out over the abortion thing. Please, this is the best thing that ever happened to establishment Democrats because now they have something to campaign on.
Right.
That's it.
I mean, and that's the thing. You're wrong if you're going to keep just using this campaign, or from the Democrats' point of view, just throwing money at an issue as opposed to actually correcting it, right? The problems. Then who's suffering? The people are suffering. They're not winning. And I just want independent. That's why I think with that poll, going back to it, I saw the poll. It says 44-42 in favor of Zeldin among independents.
Yeah.
44-42.
That's a huge deal.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a real big problem,
Yeah.
Kathy Hochul.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, you're
If
looking.
independents are breaking towards Lee Zeldin,
Yeah,
that's
they're-
a monumental
That's
problem.
a monumental
Yeah.
issue. And then I saw also among Hispanics nationally, 2016, I believe it was I want to say 30-point gap or something like that. And then it shrunk now. It's looking at 13 point.
Yeah.
That's, I mean,
That's
unbelievable. And even with all I hate using these words. Minority groups. I hate that crap
Mhm.
because I don't like classifying people based on their group. But like
Right.
if you look at it as a voting block, like African Americans swaying more to the right, Latinos swaying more to the right, Asians,
Latinx.
I will never.
the Latinx.
Latinx. Yeah.
I don't understand
No,
that.
that's stupid.
The
Yeah.
Bogadas of the Bronx.
Yeah. Oh.
The Bogadas.
yeah. Breakfast
What
tacos.
the hell
The
is a Bogada?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm very interested now to see with this election. That's what I'm talking about. Is who's going to get energized September, October. And I was looking also at the gubernatorial primary results. I think in the Democratic gubernatorial primary, Hochul, Jumaane Williams, and Suozzi, approximately 750,000 voters came out.
Yeah.
In the Republican gubernatorial primary, 450,000. So it was less than a 2-to-1 difference among the turnout among Democrat primary and Republican primary. And remember, Democrats hold 2-to-1 advantage. So if that gap shrinks,
Yep.
that's where it's going to be so important to win that independent vote.
Yep.
So now that independent vote is going to really make the difference in pushing us over the edge. Because remember, if I always tell the people this too, to show them about how it's so important when you break it down. If you have 100 voters in a state, just say numbers purposes, 100 voters in a state, you have 50,000 registered voters of Democrats, 25,000 registered voters of Republicans.
Right. 100,000
Right.
voters.
You have and 100,000. So
Yep.
that's 50. But if Democrats bring out only 20,000 and all the Republicans come out in that sense, right, you win. Or vice versa, if you have it where it's 50,000 Democrats, 30,000 Republicans, and 25,000 Democrats come out and 28,000 Republicans. Like that's what matters. It's not the registration. It's
No.
about that turnout.
It's about who's
of
voting.
of that amount of voters.
And that's what people were demoralized a little bit after the primary, not because their candidates didn't win or something, but because of the numbers, just the sheer numbers, right in front of them, right? They're like, oh my gosh, 800,000 Democrats came out and only, 193,000 voted for Lee Zeldin and we're screwed. And I was like, hold on. You have to look at percentage of who came out for Republicans versus Democrats. And I believe if it wasn't even, Republicans may have actually percentage of registered voters were higher. Or there's about 20% Republican voters came out.
Right.
And it was 17% registered Democrats came out to vote. And so, that just shows you that there was a higher percentage of the registered voters that wanted to come out and participate in the process, and that is a good sign.
Great
sign.
sign.
You also have to look at too, did Democrats stay home? Did some registered Democrats stay home in the Democrat primary because they're disenfranchised Democrats? Also, when you go into the general election, it's not just about who's a registered Democrat or who's a registered Republican. You have the registered conservatives, you have the blanks, the independents that could shift either direction. But in this year, the way the political climate and the political winds are blowing, they're more likely to shift and break to the right, as you see in that poll.
Right. The blanks are actually saying by not registering with a party, the blanks are broadcasting to all candidates, to all people who are running for office, that tell me why I should vote for you. They're actually saying that to you because they're telling you I'm not one way or the other. So I want to know why I should vote for you this year as opposed to your opponent. And I tell you what, to every independent who is a conservative identifies as a conservative candidate or the fiscal conservative social liberal, the Republican Party welcomes you.
Yes.
So 100% the
Big
Republican Party welcomes you, because we are not somebody that's going to push you away, to bully you, to say you have to think one way. Some people you may hate Trump, but love safe communities, excellent schools, a rip-roaring economy. Welcome to our party. You may love Trump and then go for abortion. Welcome to our party. Okay? I don't care about your mentality in terms of issues, as long as you're focused on one thing and one thing only, and that is pushing America forward in a way that makes us competitive on a national level and that allows people to find opportunities and then seize on those opportunities. Because I want people to become financially free. I want people to become independent. I don't want people beholden to our government. I don't want people beholden to their jobs. So I want to have it. If you can create income, you have ideas, you want to see those executed, then let's have policies that allow it to happen, that starts businesses easier, right? Think about that for me. I mean, I look at this as how 18-year-old goes to college, right? They're told, go to college.
Yep.
Right? All they need to do is sign a promissory note and they get $250,000 to go to college. But now they're in debt, $250,000.
Yeah.
Why don't we have it where if you have great ideas, that we have either the government, or we're incentivizing banks to issue loans to young men and women to start businesses, online businesses, brick and mortar businesses, whatever it may be, that are experiential, that are innovative, that engage your communities, and you're giving those loans to them at a younger age so that they can actually start their ideas and start those businesses and create jobs, right? And create communities that people are attracted to and therefore want to live in and be a part of.
Yeah, I'm happy you said that, because when you talk about creating a business, if an 18-year-old creates a business and maybe you're giving that 18-year-old a $250,000 loan to start a company doing whatever he or she wants to do. But that company, the goal of that company isn't to just be a company that employs one person. Yeah. You know, that company can employ the community. It can employ his friends, his neighbors, and people on his block, or her block. And that could push prosperity forward in New York.
Right. It's harder to get a $10,000 small business loan when you're 18 than it is to get $250,000 to study art history at Cortland.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
I don't understand.
I don't get it.
It's I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. It's because after Bill Clinton removed the bankruptcy claim from student loans. So if you claim bankruptcy, you lose all your debt. It's all wiped away, except student loans. So then schools decided, wait a minute, I'm guaranteed to get my money.
Guaranteed.
So I'm going to make it as expensive as possible. It became a mafia.
Of course.
The mob will lend you money at a certain percentage because they know they're going to get paid. Harvard's the same thing. And right after 96, you started to see the college tuitions go all the way up and all the way up. And now it costs $100,000 a year to go to NYU.
Yep.
Because they know they're going to get their money one way or the other, because you can't get rid of it. If you were still able to remove student debt through bankruptcy, it would force the colleges to charge less in the hopes that they would get at least some of their money back when you got a useless degree from Wesleyan. When you studied women's studies at Stony Brook.
Well, remember, they wouldn't be offering that then, right?
Because
they wouldn't be offering it because they know we're not going to get paid back.
There's no reason
we're not going to say an ROI, return on investment, right?
There's no reason why Wagner University would teach my favorite class, Lesbian Dance Theory, which is a real class that costs $9,000 at Wagner University. It is a real class, Lesbian Dance Theory. What in the hell does that mean? But Wagner wouldn't be teaching it because they'd be like, oh, we need to make engineers. We need to make nurses. We need to make doctors so they can make enough money to pay us back for our ridiculously expensive tuition. Instead, they take jocks like me in high school and go, oh, why don't you go to college for sports management? What the hell? What, so I can spend 4 years to learn how to be a manager at Dick's? I could just go work at Dick's.
Right.
You know, it's wild. The college scam is mind-blowing to me. And, you know, I went through it. It's funny. I have a degree in poli-sci and journalism. I work in politics and journalism, and I don't need either one of those degrees to do what I'm doing. It's wild.
Let me ask this, District 19. All right, so there's a special election coming up, District 19, August 23rd.
Right, Mark Molinaro,
right? Now, the seat was formerly held by Antonio Delgado. He was in Congress, right? Kathy Hochul now taps him to be the next lieutenant governor. So hopefully he's not, cursed like Brian Benjamin and every other one of Kathy Hochul's, bad decisions in this
everyone she works with goes to jail.
She goes to jail, right? So Mark Molinaro, if we flip that seat, District 19 in upstate New York, right? Otsego County, you have Oneonta, you have all the up there. And there's a lot of friends in the chat here who are from that area. District 9, do you consider that maybe a bellwether for November? Can that give you the, kind of a stick your finger in the air and see if the winds are blowing in our favor?
Yeah, special elections are always a bellwether because it shows energy and turnout. Who wants to come out and who's actually engaged. Specifically with that, let me just walk back again, because if you rehash how Marcus Molinaro is running against a new Democrat, so it's funny because you have the lieutenant governor became governor because the current governor was outed for corruption and sexual harassment, and then that lieutenant governor became governor, then appointed a new lieutenant governor who was outed for corruption, who then appointed a congressman to become lieutenant governor. So I love that transition right there.
Yeah.
Just showing, I'm like, wait a second. If this was Ron DeSantis
in
Florida, what would the media be saying right now?
And they're quiet about this. They're totally silent.
Does anybody,
like nobody knows about.
Know who Brian Benjamin is right now?
No.
The fact, have you heard anything about his corruption?
I think
the former lieutenant governor. Does anybody know?
I saw him take the perp walk, but that was only because I went and looked for it.
And it's a huge problem because, again, like this guy, it's like. He's the butt of every Republican joke right now when we talk about Kathy Hochul. If this was Ron DeSantis, like you said, there would be nonstop stories about how he should be impeached.
The corrupt Republicans in Florida, et cetera. And that's why I always look at it. I go, okay, wait a second. If this was a Republican governor, how would the media respond right now? Everybody would be focused on Brian Benjamin every single day leading up to this. They'd be criticizing Delgado, constantly saying he's not qualified, he shouldn't even be there. Kathy Hochul would be teared apart.
Yeah, they'd be questioning her judgment all over the place.
And let's not even talk about what she did with the nurses. That's a whole separate thing with her situation with
that. That's mind-blowing.
Did that.
That's mind-blowing. She goes, "Oh, we need more nurses. Why don't you just take the ones you fired, you moron?"
Then she mandated that if you were a COVID positive nurse, you still had to come back to work. If DeSantis said if you were COVID positive, you have to come back, media would flip.
Ron DeSantis, they would have started all that crap again.
Joy Behar would have lost her mind again.
Lost her mind. Can you believe? So all this is silent, but without a doubt, going back to your question, it is a bellwether indeed, because what matters is turnout. This goes to Lee Zeldin. I saw Lee last night as well, and he was talking about this. He was saying how these special elections, it was he had a poll done a decade ago when he first ran, and he said, "Do you know when the primary is?" He was in a primary for, I believe it was Congress, and he said, "Do you know when the election is?" And the people that, because he in a poll he was down in the general poll, but the people who knew when the primary was, he was up.
Yep.
So that is your indicator.
He was up among people that were engaged with the election, who knew what was going on and who were actually going to turn out. And that's what it comes down to.
That's what it's going to
show you who actually wants to be there, right? Because that's the beauty about politics and these elections, is that people that are engaged, people that are informed, people are aware of what's happening, they're going to make sure they show up, and they're going to make sure that voice is heard. And I tell you what, that's going to be important this upcoming August 23rd.
Particularly this one, because
this election,
because it's a separate primary.
Yeah.
What was it? Somebody called it a sleepy election?
A sleepy primary.
A sleepy primary.
People aren't used to voting in primaries in August.
Yeah.
It's always June.
Right.
June.
It's the last week before school starts.
Yeah.
People are going to be away. Guys, early voting starts on the 13th. We will put up a post with the early voting locations. Right. You guys are more than welcome. You guys can vote from August 13th to August 21st, I think.
Yep.
It's 21st.
Skip the day.
21st, yeah.
Yeah, they skip the day and then they go right
to
Yep.
So you guys can, if you guys are going on vacation, Saturday, the last day, no excuses, all right? We all got to get out. We all got to vote. Even if you guys are for different candidates and other people in the chat or however you feel, get out and vote.
Vote anyway. Got to be a part of the process. Got to stay engaged. And I always say,
trust the process. Right?
Own the process. Don't just trust the process, but own every step of the process.
Isn't that what the 76ers say?
Yeah, trust the process.
I don't know.
But own the process. Train up. Be a poll watcher. Get involved.
Right.
Like stay engaged, because the minute you shut your eyes, the minute you pull your foot off that gas pedal, they're coming right back. You're going to get left in the dust, and we can't let that happen again. The stakes are too high. Stakes are too high. So what's next for the future of Mike LiPetri that you're allowed to tell us?
Oh, listen.
I got to do it.
And you're allowed to tell us.
You got 10 minutes left, so you're in the hot seat now.
The people want to hear more about what's going on in today's politics, not the future.
I don't know.
And chat, that is how
you pivot.
What should I say? But the future, I have a lot of great supporters, people in the community. They recognized my passion, dedication, and they love the fact that I was committed to them in the state legislature. I mean, I had friends like my buddy Mike Rosner, who was just nonstop out there for me and really supportive. And he was continuing forward in the last year's election with helping the county exec race in Nassau and others in the community that were just are really I just really appreciate how much heart and passion they have to push me out there. We'll see what happens in the future. At this time, I'm really focused on what 22 has in store.
Mm-hmm.
We have great candidates. I want to see Zeldin really make this change. 20 years. I mean, that would be awesome.
And he's the best shot that we've had in the last 20 years.
Yeah. This is it. This is the best shot with the timing, mentality, the energy that we're seeing from people. I really want that for us to capitalize on it.
But like we said, you guys, everyone has got to be part of the process.
That's it.
You all gotta. Look. We get a lot of message. Where do I get a lawn sign?
Yeah,
the Zeldin campaign office. You got to get out there. You got to do what you got to do.
Also, can I add that? But beside the sign, politics campaigns cost money, and ladies and gentlemen, we're not asking for serious cash. If you throw $5 to a campaign, 100,000 people do that. That's $500,000.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That makes such a big difference. And that's what Democrats actually do a great job on pushing. And their base does do that. Their base, the leftist socialists, they do that $5. They do that $1. They do that $10. But all that makes a difference compounded. And I want to see the Republicans start pushing that, advancing that, where find your candidate, throw $5 to them, throw $10, throw $1. I don't care. But all that money makes a difference, and that's going to add up in a compounded way. I tell you, I've learned that word compound is my operative word in politics, because when I campaigned, I was a nobody. I was 20-something years old. I was just there and wanted to make a difference, and I knocked on 20,000 doors to win and beat a Democratic incumbent during a blue wave year. And I did that through perseverance, persistence, but starting at one door at a time. I said, okay, I need X amount of doors. So how do I do it? Well, if I do X amount per day, compounded over days, there you go.
That's how you get there.
Before you know it, people start hearing Mike LiPetri. People start saying, oh, I met Mike. I know Mike. I talked to Mike. I asked him about these issues, and I like what he had to say, and I appreciate that. And I had that among Republicans, Democrats, and independents, because I took the time to speak to them, because you take that time to actually voice your opinions, your ideas, and when it comes to ideas, we always win. So take the time, look up your candidate, go to Zeldin for New York, go to whomever your congressional candidate is, look up your districts, find the candidate, look up their campaign website. It's really easy. Just type in their name and campaign, and then you can just donate $1, $5, whatever. And I'm telling you, that's going to have a huge, huge difference. And you're going to see some serious changes. Mark Molinow, for example, right?
Yep. You
donate to that in the special election right now, he gets to pound out mailers. He gets to pound out commercials, digital ads, CTV, etc. And all that is going to make the difference. So people say, oh, I can come out. I have to come out. And remember that August 23rd, for that special election, for those of you upstate,
District 19,
that's an election. So therefore not a primary. So it's Republicans and independents can come out.
Yes.
Republicans and independents can come out.
Yeah, that's one of those where everybody can vote, even though it's a primary across the board. That's a special election.
That's an election.
That's an election.
Everybody else is a primary where it's closed and only to those respective political parties. But in this election, it's an election. So turn out, get out the vote and make sure your voice is heard.
Yeah, we're excited
And
about
guys, just so you
19.
know, that goes pretty much. Wow, that district is huge.
It's a monster.
Wow, it goes pretty much from the Massachusetts line all the way to Binghamton, with skipping over Albany. But yeah, wow, that is one big ass district.
It's huge.
I mean, it's not as big as Elise's district. I don't know how she.
The upstate area.
I don't know how Congresswoman Stefani does it. Like she goes from what? That's
planes
like
and helicopters.
Yeah, that's
planes, trains, automobiles.
Planes,
right?
trains, and automobiles.
It's like 40,
and aircraft.
Her district is like 40 miles south of Albany and goes to Canada.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's
crazy.
That's like a 2-day trip.
Now, District 19 historically has been a flip-flop district too. It's been red, it's been blue, it's been red, it's been blue, and so and then that's an area. I know the area. I know the people up there, and there's the overwhelming conservative Republican up there, and even if you're registered Republican, registered Democrat, registered conservative, or an independent, you can vote in the August 23rd special election.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah,
and that's going to all make the difference. Let me just tell people, for more information about me, or if you want to follow, I do a lot of stuff on my Instagram and social media at Mike LiPetri.
You've been pumping out videos left and right.
All over the place.
Because I want to create that informed electorate. I took the summer off. I'm going to get back into it in September. I'm going to Israel for the International Counterterrorism Summit.
Nice.
So
cool.
I want to talk a lot about what's happening worldwide issues and getting understanding of that. So I'm going to be going to that, and I'll have all my followers will get to see the videos and who's speaking and my meetings and issues I'm learning about. I want people further engaged. An informed electorate is the most dangerous to a tyrannical government.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So we want people informed. We want people aware. And so follow my page at Mike LiPetri on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. But my Instagram is where my focus is right now. I want to have that because I'm hoping when TikTok gets banned in the United States, people recognize America, focusing on Instagram and focusing on America. Now, don't get me wrong. I want big tech to be broken up, but I'd rather have American companies rather than Chinese companies.
Of course. And
oh boy, we're gonna have a war of the social media platforms here.
Listen, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
TikTok gets banned, it's all right. And Instagram, I love Instagram. Love my Instagram. Instagram's a lot of fun. But Mike is doing this the right way. He's getting out in front of the camera. Just like you said, you were persistent, knocking on all those doors day after day after day after day, now hammering away. Because we talked about smarter phones make dumber people, and that can be true if you look at the wrong things on your smartphone. But if you're watching Mike LiPetri's videos on your smartphone, smartphones create smarter people, informed people. We have information right here. It's all on this phone. It's right there.
You can find
everything that you want.
You can find you can find the Library of Alexandria in your pocket.
Like
the wealth of the Ming Dynasty.
Think about
you can find in your pocket.
It's incredible.
You can read books that our founding fathers would have had no idea about. That dynasties, the Egyptians, all ancient aliens.
Aliens. Yeah.
But I kind of lost the thread on that one as we're pulling up to 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we're getting close to 9. Where can everyone find us right now?
Guys, head on over to loudmajorityus.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out the shop. Never miss out on anything we've got going on. We've got loads and loads of great guests going on. We might have some big news coming from the White Stone Republican Club coming up soon.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I got the numbers yesterday, and we are a go for next Wednesday.
We are a go for next Wednesday. So, guys, tune in Monday. You'll know all about that.
Or tune in to Locals. You'll know more about it now.
Loudmajority.locals.com, guys. Sign up. We're going to be on there at about 9:30. Rumble.com/loudmajorityus. Get off YouTube. It sucks. They hate
YouTube.
They hate you.
They can't stand you.
We love you.
We do.
So get off YouTube because they don't like you. They don't like you at all.
Yep.
Rumble loves you.
That's right. And also shout out to the Live from America LFA fam. We're going to be
the LFA family.
We got some cool things and some friends of ours and Jeremy specifically who we're excited about joining and helping out at some point. I think it's going to start in September.
Look at what Poso put.
What's that? Map break. Carizona, yes. Carizona. Well, we thank Mike LiPetri, local legend. Mike LiPetri.
Local legend.
Thanks for jumping on with us.
Stop it. Make me blush. It's such a pleasure to be with you, gentlemen. You guys are the best.
It's just hot in here. Don't worry.
It's just hot in here.
It's a little warm. But coming up on 9, we thank everybody for joining, for listening, for watching today. It's the summer. Everyone's got things to do. They got beaches to visit. They've got sharks to dodge in the ocean. Everything's crazy. But we say it. Look, if you're still watching now, you're still engaged now, as Andrew Wilkow, a great radio host, says all the time, you're the hardcore. You're the ones who are going to drive this train come November. So stay involved, stay engaged. And we say these 4 words over and over and over again until the people in power either get it, get the hell out of our way, finish paving the Southern State Parkway, or lower the price of gasoline. And those 4 words are that if we do not consent, we will not comply. To that, I say thank you. God bless you. God bless America. Stop complying with any unlawful mandates and madness. And as always, stay loud.